Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How's your week been?
Another busy week. Trying to get finished.
That's that's good. Yeah, we're getting closer.
Yep.
That's nice. So,
Yeah, they changed my laptop at work, and even at
oh,
home now, I can't access YouTube.
really?
Yeah.
Did they do that on purpose or
Yeah, it's a new security patch they put across them, and it used to only work when you were at work,
yeah.
and now they can actually control it while you're anywhere.
Wow. That's kind of intense.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
It really sucks because half my homework is blocked now, all the videos and
oh
all the
yeah.
classes. So,
Oh, dang. Yeah, that would be tough. Um,
so
yeah, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube.
well,
That's
even the Hangouts. Um,
right.
uh, what are the Zoom meetings? Those are all blocked.
Right.
Pretty much any
Heck,
video.
yeah. Whenever I have a question in one of my classes, I just go to YouTube and there's tutorials on everything.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, I think I've worked around it by being able to work through my iPad, but it just
yeah.
makes it that much more tough to deal with.
Oh boy. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm taking a spreadsheets and analysis class,
Uh huh.
and yeah, without YouTube, I don't know, it'd be tough. There's a lot of stuff I
I love
learned.
that spreadsheets and analysis
Yeah,
class. That one was fun.
yeah, it's been a really good applicable class. So
Yep. Yeah,
it's
you
good.
can use that one for a lot.
Yeah, yeah, very true. So it's a good class. I was actually just up very late last night doing a project for that class.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some big projects. Well, they've
Yeah.
changed it since I took it. I took it early on,
Uh-huh.
and it was originally it was a 4 credit class,
Oh
and it was
wow.
statistics analysis and um, spreadsheets all in one.
Huh. Oh, interesting.
They divided it into two, so the
Yeah.
statistic class is one class, and then the spreadsheet and analysis
Right.
is a separate one.
Huh.
But yeah, that one about killed me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Did you have any prior experience with Excel or anything like that? Or
Oh yeah, I use Excel every day.
no, okay.
I'm
Figures.
so I can hold my
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. I'm
So
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I like that class because it seems actually like really applicable. I mean, other classes are too, but that one like really applicable.
and I don't know about other industries, but the one I'm in, probably spend 50 to 60% of my day in Excel.
Really?
So
With
yeah,
really complex stuff, or is it basic or
some of it's basic, just sharing information, but then some of it's actually pretty complex. I actually have developed and designed our own dispatching sheets where we dispatch the buses,
okay.
all out of Excel, and it
Really?
uses all kinds of formulas where it looks up the people, um, puts them on the
Yeah.
right routes, and then it keeps track of their time during the day so that we have payroll records. It assigns the buses to them, keeps track of who did which route, all kinds of
Wow.
stuff. So it's pretty
That's cool.
pretty intense stuff. But
Yeah. So I'm sure you were able to do a pretty cool final project for that class.
uh, my my final project wasn't too bad.
Yeah, sure.
Because that one is the one where you put together all of the different aspects with the home loans and all that stuff, isn't it too?
We haven't
Or
touched on that yet, but we might do that.
I
But
have to go back and look through mine. But yeah, I have no problem writing formulas, using
yeah,
macros. Um, I've been trying to learn how to do some of the Visual Basic programming.
right. That's
But
cool. That's
one,
really neat.
caught. So I saw you reached out and sent a message to Mom.
Yeah. So I'll try and send a personalized message to her again. She hasn't responded, but I was even thinking maybe if she wants to meet up on a Thursday at 9 o'clock, we could both meet up there on campus, and I could kind of help her be the discussion leader, more or less.
That'd be awesome.
Where we're both kind of talking, and we can be right there talking to each other, trying to figure stuff out, and yeah, I'd be happy to sit down with her, help her out.
This is your second one, and Tanner's done 2.
Yeah.
So we've all fulfilled our requirements for it. Now we just get to enjoy it after this.
Yeah. Well, heck, I was reading through today's case study, and I had a tough time understanding and following all that stuff. So I can't even imagine, how it would be, so.
Well, and that's, she responded just to my email, and that's why I figured I would respond it back and copy you two.
Yeah, that was good.
If she, if she even wants to just do one little piece, I'm more than happy to give her credit for doing one little bit of it.
Yeah,
I have no
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
So.
I agree as well. I'm good with it too.
How's it going, Tanner?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
I did attend the hangout with, and she did tell us that because she hasn't graded the other doohickey assignments, she's given us until the 9th. So.
Okay.
I saw that email that you sent out, Grant. So that'll be good, I guess. We'll have most of it done. I don't know if you guys were able to finish it up, but I got Grant, you emailed me yours, didn't you? The finished one.
Yeah, I sent it to you. If you want me to change anything or add to it.
No, I think it looks good. And then have you sent me yours yet, Tyler?
No, not yet. I've started working on it. I've got to finish that. So now knowing that it's a week, I might send that to you tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe.
No worries, man.
Get some extra sleep tonight, so.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's no problem.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so that's nice. I would be curious to see how we did on our first one before I started writing the second one, but I guess probably don't have that luxury. So I guess on that last one or the second to last one will be really good. So.
Yeah, I didn't realize though it's the same case study as before. So is it going to be the same for the next 2 too?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't really realize that as well when we were writing the first one. I guess I just didn't really look into it as much as I should have. But I guess we probably just build on what we're learning. So like safety and motivation and hiring and talent acquisition or whatever. And then in the next 3 weeks, we'll probably write about what we learned. As far as it goes with the doohickey.
Yeah, and that's what she explained is the first assignment was weeks 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
This one covered weeks 6, 7, and 8. The third one covers 9, 10, and
11.
Right? And then the last one only covers the
12 and 13.
12 and 13. Yep.
Kind of makes it nice, to be honest with you. I mean, you get to know that case study really well.
Yeah.
No complaining on my end.
That's what I figured you could just go back and relate a couple of your new points back to original ones that were in the first one or whatever else.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything else, Grant, from that meeting? Important or?
Not really. That was about the most of it. She said she's still struggling getting all the assignments graded just because of the quantity of them.
Okay.
I guess there's some changes. The only other thing she said is if you don't see feedback from the doohickey assignment, and it only comes to one person, the person that submits it, just to make sure you share it with the others in the group. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
because
Sweet.
she'll post it to whoever submitted it. It's supposed to go to the whole group when the grade goes through, but she said sometimes it's not. So
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out.
Sounds
for
good.
it.
Yeah, same. See if it for some reason comes to me. Well, cool. You guys think Mong is attending? I sent her an invite and everything, but I guess we can start it up and see if she joins along the way.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Tanner, do you mind saying a prayer for us?
You betcha. Our dear Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for my blessings. Thank you for able to be gathered here in this little group that we might be able to discuss about human resource and be able to apply it into our daily life. And Father, we love you so very much, and we're grateful for the many blessings that thou hast given us. And Heavenly Father, we pray for these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, let's kick this off. What were you guys' general impressions reading that case study?
Well, mine was just kind of, the importance of safety. And kind of what stuck out to me that was kind of big for me was that even though they increased safety, that their production even increased on top of it, that it didn't actually decrease.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's interesting because I actually had the chance to work in an Alcoa plant.
Oh, really?
And it was in Denver where they actually made the aluminum cans out of all the big huge rolls of aluminum that they would make.
Huh.
And it is, so that was in 2001. Just after this, really.
Yeah.
And it was impressive. I mean, that place was a safe, very, very safe place to work. I was in there working on a crane, and I had to go through a 2-hour safety class before I could, in their plant.
Wow. Really?
Huh.
And they did. They safety through everything. So it was kind of interesting to read this and kind of get some of the back history of it and where it came from.
Right. So what I was confused about until about halfway through when it actually made a comment about it, I was trying to envision it in my head because it said it was talking about roads and it was talking about buildings and stuff. So I didn't really realize how big of a plant this actually was, unless I'm misunderstanding it. It said it was like a small city. So, I mean, this is a really big place with tons of employees. So I was just trying to think, like, dang, it would be tough to be in charge of so many people's safety, and having to make sure that everyone is following, safety procedures and whatnot. I was thinking about where I work, and heck, there's like 10 or 15 of us, and you turn your back and, somebody might be doing something stupid. And if you've got 30,000 employees, I couldn't even imagine. So that really stood out to me. But yeah, so what were you guys' impressions about like their focus on safety and how that may have caused for extra expenses? Are those expenses worth it? To limit, from 9 safety casualties to 5 and all of that. What did you guys think about that?
Well, I look at it with one of the comments that was in there. You can't put a price on a life.
Yeah.
So the money that you spend on those kind of safety initiatives and those kind of things is worth it. I mean, anything you can do to reduce injuries, and safety initiatives are expensive. Those things aren't cheap when you start putting in added steps to things. You add equipment, safety equipment, and PPE and all that stuff. That becomes a very major expense for a corporation. But at the same time, what does a corporation pay out for one fatality. It's a massive amount.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be paying out millions and millions. So, especially if you're, if you're liable in it and you didn't do the things to prepare for it, it's a massive amount of exposure. So, what are those few dollars that you do truly spend to make a place safe?
Yeah, and I remember reading. I think it said they spent after that. I can't remember when exactly it was, but they spent over $4 million on safety. Just to ensure the safety of their employees, and I thought that was pretty cool. And another thing, I mean, I just kind of like their ideas that they kind of came up with to ensure the safety. I remember one of them saying that they would have to climb up all these ladders, to get to the top of the tanks or whatever, to check the gauges on them. But instead, they rather than making them have to climb, they just made the gauges visible and gave them some binoculars that they could see, without having to climb and having all that, net unnecessary risk, I guess.
Right.
That they eliminated those problems just by doing stuff like that. And I thought, that's pretty true, though. There's a lot of things that you can probably do within a company that can really, get rid of the risk of safety hazards and safety issues.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to start getting really creative and innovative, especially since, like Grant was saying, it's not cheap, but they are real people. And so you got to be smart. But I think that you can be smart in that kind of way, like you said, Tanner, and think of different ideas and creative ideas. What do you guys think? Like most of the injuries, because it seems like they've got a pretty good system in place. Do you guys think most of the injuries that are occurring now are people's fault, or do you still think that they could be improved through processes?
I think some of it too could be, when people err too, because I think sometimes we can get into routine where we're doing the same thing every day, and we kind of, maybe lose that focus, or but we're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, and we think, oh, I've done it so many times that, I maybe don't need to wear, gloves, or if you're connecting the pipe or whatever it was, just simple things like that that could cause, that isn't necessarily the company's fault. It's it's your own fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's about changing the whole mentality and the whole
culture.
Yeah, the culture. To become a safety conscious culture.
Yeah.
And that has to start from the top down. It can't start from the bottom up.
Right.
And that top down culture, you have to work on the fact that, the message you send as a manager can't be, we are going to get this done and do whatever you have to do, even bypassing safety to get something done. The message always has to be, I don't care if it slows you down, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to do it safe and as quickly as we can. And I think that's a big thing, is that whole mentality has to change, and then the culture comes with it as you work down through it. And I know they talked about in here, I was trying to find it exactly, but they're, they had the safety meeting, the safety teams that would meet and then go out and actually analyze the different areas. And they would do basically self-imposed units. And that's a big thing, to be able to get out there and do those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was neat. I also think, like you're saying, Grant, that it is tough. Like, you've got to change that attitude towards, oh, wearing my hard hat's not cool, or I hate, how it feels because it's so uncomfortable to be wearing these, flannel shirts when it's 100 degrees. So, like you said, I can't start from the bottom. It's got to start from the top. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I mean, if they see you not doing something, they're not going to do something.
Exactly. And it can't be that you have a manager that walks through the plant without the proper safety gear, even if
Yeah.
he's just walking through.
Right.
You know, he needs to, even if he's walking through, he needs to make sure that he has all the proper safety equipment on if he's to enter that area of what they're doing. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's from the top down. Anytime you're going to have that kind of a culture, you really have to start culture from the top down.
Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah,
that the message you send is that.
Yeah. I'm sure, you know, like in the real world experience and everything where safety is, you know, really pushed. I'm sure, like, oh, I don't want to wear my hard hat because, you know, I don't care, like, whatever, like, all, you know, they want to die or anything or they want to get injured. It's just because it's inconvenient, and 99.9% of the time they're fine, you know, but it is that 1% of the time or 0.01% of the time where, yeah, it's inconvenient, but it's way better than, you know, going into a coma because you get hit in the head with a, you know, big, huge piece of aluminum. So yeah, it would be tough, especially if that culture get. So yeah. I think you guys have both mentioned one or two things, but what was your favorite safety initiative or initiative in general that the company did to try and improve safety?
Well, I mean, for me, I just thought it was cool the different ideas that they came up with. You know, that I mentioned about the gauges being seen from down below, and I mean, I think that's kind of cool that, you know, if you can get together and just come up with different ideas, I guess, or stuff that can eliminate those risks that will help out the company and with safety and everything else.
Yeah, I think that was I thought the interesting part of it was reading about the fact that how much time it took to change some of the culture that was there. You know, these are people that are big, rough, and tough. They've been in this. You know, most of these are multi-generational people that are in this, that are working here, and their family have dealt with it in the past. You know, I was reading one of the things, you know, talking about how many people lost fingers because they were wearing a ring.
Yeah.
And that actually was a hard thing for them to change. I can tell you, get my ring caught once, and I was ready to, you know, okay, I'll take it off. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know. So, but it's some of those things that it's interesting the way people perceive those changes, even though it's for their benefit. They don't always perceive them in the right way.
Yeah. No, that's,
I guess kind of the way
that's true.
people look at the gospel. Sometimes they think it's restrictive, but what they don't realize is in reality, it's actually keeping us free.
Yeah, it's for their own good. That's very true. Yeah, I liked, man, there were a lot of cool things that I, you know, I've never thought like, oh man, like this safety stuff is so cool and innovative and stuff. But I thought the slowing down the trucks or the vehicles was an interesting thing. Yeah, it takes them a little bit longer, but not only did it, but it made the cars or vehicles last longer, and it, you know, less breakdowns and less expenses and stuff like that. So I thought it was like, you know, two birds, one stone type of thing. It helped in multiple ways, which was neat, and just cool how they thought of all these different make safety good again, I guess. Okay, so
the other thing to look at is that they didn't just develop these procedures from the safety manager. They actually went out and took the ideas of the people that were actually operating and doing the jobs, And
Yeah.
that's where a lot of those good ideas came from. You talk about where they were,
Right.
changing the way they had self-closing gates on some of the catwalks and those kind of things.
Oh yeah.
It was the people that did the job that actually thought of those things. They're the ones that know what's dangerous and what's not. So.
Right. That's true. Yeah. I think a lot of times you can get your best ideas and the realist ideas from the people that are actually down there doing the job every single day. It's one thing for, having a big wig come in and say, hey, you got to change this. And they haven't actually ever, driven the bus, or they've never actually, done the grunt work. So,
Yep.
and I think it's a lot harder for those people that are, doing that work to accept it if they know that person has never actually, been there or done that. So, yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so our Merton, the I think it's a lady that's over the security or safety, and you get that fax or that phone call from the head guy, saying that he wants to meet at 9 in the morning to go over this supervisor that he wants to fire. What's your guys' approach coming into that meeting with the supervisor? Do you think that he has that he has a good idea and he should go ahead and fire the guy, or should she try and talk him out of that? What do you guys think?
Well, I think because she know that why he was getting fired or whatever? Did she knew that, right, before she was going to the meeting, or no? Because isn't that what she scanned over or whatever, or faxed or something?
Yeah, and her fax, I think that he'd mentioned that he wanted to do that, and if she wanted to talk about it, then she could. And I think that he talked about it on the phone call with her.
Because I was gonna say, because I mean, what happened was the manager, whatever, was telling the electrician to get it done. It didn't matter, the safety precautions. He just kind of ignored them. But I think from what I read, it said that this was his third time,
Right.
just kind of blowing off the
Yeah.
safety precautions, and so I think maybe he is. It did say that he was a respected guy within the company, but I mean, comes a time when you gotta obey safety before you can rather than just making sure you get the job done, because it costed the guy has got second-degree burns on his arms. And so it's kind of funny because my dad just recently had an experience like this. So he's a general manager for a Raft River Electric, so it's like a power company, and so they work on the telephone poles and everything else. And anyways, there's a guy that he had a panel blow up on him because he was kind of ignoring safety precautions.
Ooh.
And so he got burns, all on his hands, his face and everything else, because he just ignored those safety precautions. And so my dad ended up letting him go because he ignored the safety precautions, because he didn't. And so he kind of, told everybody else there, like, hey, if you want to ignore these safety precautions, then don't go find a job somewhere else.
Right.
These safety, he's like, I'm in charge of getting you guys, back home to your family safely. And so if you guys ignore these precautions, then, so, I mean, I think I probably would have done the same thing if this was his third time, and if they talked to him every time, I think I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Let him go.
I like that.
Yeah. And I agree. He's a supervisor, and like I've said, you have to start from the top down. And if it's your supervisor that doesn't want to live up to and set the example, then you've got a problem, and you're not going to have the safety aspect with that crew and those people that work for him. Yeah. And so, it's a tough deal there. I had the experience where I had a guy that wasn't following a safety procedure that we have in the shop. Anytime they worked on a bus and they jacked it up in the air, they had to have jack stands underneath it. And I came into work one morning and, jack stands aren't there. There's this bus just sitting in the air, lift, and nothing there to protect it. So I found out who was working on it. And I bring the guy in and talk to him, and I said, hey, there weren't jack stands under it. Nope. Is there a reason there weren't jack stands under it? He said, I didn't feel like it. I'm like, so I'm sitting there going, well, come on, what? And I said,
Yeah.
I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to let you go for not following safety procedure. This is a big deal. And he looked at me and he said, hey, you're not thinking about my family. I need to be able to have work so I can provide for them. And I said, no, I am thinking of your family. I don't want you to continue to have this kind of action where you ignore things like this, and one day you don't get to go home to your family. So I'm sending you home to your family today. And sometimes it is.
That's a good answer.
But sometimes you have to do something like that. And I'll tell you, one person got fired for that, and I've never seen another person work on a bus without a jack stand under it.
Yeah, they learn quickly, don't they?
Yep, and that's been 7 years ago. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I guess that's true. Sometimes you have to, send a message, and you can do it in a good way. Like, I feel like both those instances that you guys were talking about are good ways to, send a message. And it is true. I mean, you look out for the person's family essentially doing that, because, if they're not going to follow the safety precautions, something could happen to them, and you'd hate to, okay, well, now we're going to start following safety precautions because so-and-so, really, really got injured or died, or, that would just be the worst. And I feel like as a manager, that would be 10 times harder than having to, let somebody go, is trying to explain to a family member that, well, sorry, I mean, we have these safety precautions in place, but, when I see it, I kind of just turn my head, and it actually happened. And then, I mean, besides the fact that somebody, might pass away, you've got to, live with that internally, and that would be tough. So.
Definitely.
Well, I don't know if you guys have any other comments about the case or anything that you want to add. That was a good one.
So. I said it was a long one.
Yeah. It was a tough read pages. At some parts. Yeah, thankfully there were some graphics in there at the end. I saw 22 and I was a little worried, but
yeah,
that was a big one. So, but yeah, so I guess Tanner, I'll get that paper into you no later than tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're good, man. Whatever works, whenever you can get it in. Okay. Yeah, I should have it all outlined then. Once I get yours, Tyler, I can outline it out and then send it back to you guys, and then you guys can kind of look over it and see what you guys think. But
reach out to Mong again, just personally in email, and what's going on with that. Maybe I think it'd be sweet to be up there on campus with her and help her lead the discussion to the best of her abilities, and
yeah, I think that would be great,
and get her to be able to do one of those. So, because you have to do two, right? Each person, I mean, technically is supposed to do two of them, and then after that, it's just kind of
to do two.
You can.
So
you don't have to actually write about it.
Well, you just have to write the paper at the end of it. So you just have to do the lead person paper. So.
Yeah.
So if each of us have done it twice, though, so do we got to do it again next week? Like, say if nobody does it again next week, do we have to? Is one of us got to be in charge of writing the paper, or can we say, hey, look, we got, each of us have done it twice already?
I think we just talk about the case. I mean, somebody maybe, is the guy that's asking questions, not necessarily that you have to prepare a ton more than normal, but I don't think that you'd have to write anything about it.
Write another paper or whatever.
No.
Yeah, that's what I understood. Is we'll still have the team meetings. We'll still go discuss
Yeah.
the cases, but we don't have to write the lead paper. So
Okay.
that's a nice piece.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Then we just have to submit it to the
Discussion board.
discussion board. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
So not bad at all.
anyway, and I'll work on trying to get my
So
stuff set back up so I can record again in the future.
okay.
Oh.
Sounds good. Hopefully this one works. I'll let you guys know when I've got it on the discussion board.
Well, it looks like it's still showing live up there, so I think you must be recording
That's
it.
good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming. See you guys next week, I guess. We'll be in communication.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk later, and I'll keep an eye out for that grade and send it out to everybody if it gets posted, or make sure you guys can see it. And I think she said it was going to be due in the morning on the 9th.
Morning on the 9th.
So she was giving us
Okay.
an extra 3 days basically to do it. So yes,
Well,
Sweet.
Tanner, if you want to just hold off on submitting it until
get some feedback maybe.
7th or 8th. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
get some feedback. Just make sure. I think we're going to be good from looking at the
Yeah,
example that came out and what you guys provided. I think it's a good paper.
On the last, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if you
agree.
guys have been getting. If you guys saw on the grades, but the feedback on the leader paper. Have you guys been getting those?
I haven't
Well,
gotten any back yet.
It
I
looked like
did.
I was gonna say I got one, and I got a 90 on it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Hopefully that's
pretty-
good enough for you guys. Good enough for me.
pretty good. Yeah.
Well, that's just for. I think that's just for you then.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Well, I guess.
Yeah, the leader paper would just
okay, I see what
be
you're saying.
individual.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense then.
Yeah.
So that grade is just for you on that one.
Okay.
I haven't
Sweet.
seen any of mine graded. I sent her a couple emails that, hey, I haven't seen any of my grades, or what's going on.
Oh.
So she finally posted a bunch of them, but I still haven't seen them.
I'm saying I just barely looked today, and that's when I saw it. So I don't know if how recently you've looked, but yeah. So okay, guys. Well, thanks.
All righty.
Have a good weekend, you guys.
We'll be in touch.
Yep. We will talk to you guys later.
Absolutely.
Okay. See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.